Good afternoon. I'm glad I'm not standing between you and your lunch. I'm glad you've already had your food. It's a real pleasure to be here. Glenn, thank you for the introduction. And Trish and Glenn, thank both of you for chairing the event today. It's really lovely. Boy, Diana, do you know how to throw a party? It's an honor to be here today in a city that, thanks to Irving Harris, can lay claim to the title, Birthplace of the Early Learning Field. Chicago's focus on and commitment to the earliest years of life are a beacon for the nation. Diana and everyone at the Ounce, thank you for the fantastic work you do every day for the children of Illinois and around the country. I'd like to start today by asking you to think about a word, and that word is trillion. Now, I bet the first thing that came to mind but popped into your heads was probably the national debt. But believe it or not, there's another place where this word pops up. Science tells us that during the first 5 years of life, trillions of neural connections are made, forming the foundation for all future learning. These connections or synapses are created at an astounding rate during the first 5 years of life, a rate of 700 to 1,000 per second. Per second. 0 to 5 is the most rapid period for brain development in our lifetime. What promotes these connections? What makes them strong? Positive interactions between young children and the adults in their lives. Parents, caregivers, teachers, grandparents, everyone has a role to play. Simple exchanges like counting toes or pointing to something and sparking a conversation, even when the baby can't talk yet. Those simple exchanges are brain fertilizer. Interactions build the brain architecture that is essential for every child's success in school and life. Every time we look into a child's eyes, read, giggle, or babble, we're not only building a brain, we are building the foundation for our collective future. Intuitively, we can all see the inherent value of investing in a child's well-being early in life in order to reap the benefits, both individual and societal, further down the road. Gut instinct is overwhelmingly in support of early childhood education. We've seen it in our own children and in our grandchildren. But gut instinct rarely sways economists, business leaders, or policymakers who are responsible for focusing on the bottom line. They have to operate using a preponderance of evidence before getting behind an issue in a big way. Candidly, it's been a challenge up until now. Just think about it. When you invest in young children, it can take years to see the upstream benefits. But this is all starting to change. The proof points are mounting, thanks to the work of the Ounce, neuroscientists, the economists like James Heckman at the University of Chicago. Here's what we know. Quality early childhood experiences boost high school graduation rates. And boosting high school graduation rates means a lifetime of higher earnings for the individual. Quality early childhood experiences reduce the need for special education, which is costly. Quality early childhood experiences curb violent crime and other negative behaviors that become a drain on our society. And quality early childhood experiences build adults with 21st century skills like persistence and collaboration. This is why the types of program run by the Ounce make sense on every level. The Ounce's policy work through the First 5 Years Fund will ensure these programs are part of our national agenda. It is high time this became a national conversation for our government and our business leaders to join, like they have in Illinois, and more locally, in Chicago. This is not just about the children in this community, it's about all children, all families, all communities, creating a tipping point where we become a true early learning nation. How will we do this? By thinking of early childhood education not just as a constellation of programs and policies, and trust me, these programs and policies are critical, but thinking about early childhood education as a movement. Let me share some of our work at the Foundation. We have been focused on education from birth to the end of high school since we were founded 15 years ago. This was the issue that our family chose to coalesce around. And since we felt learning starts at birth, we went in search of empirical evidence about the power of the early brain. For the past 6 years, we've been funding neuroscience at leading institutions. The findings have come fast and furious, like the uncapping of a fire hydrant. How the research is conducted is fascinating. For example, the Institute for Learning and Brain Sciences at the University of Washington uses a pioneering and unobtrusive brain imaging technology called magnetoencephalography. It allows us to view and measure the brain activity of a child while engaged with a parent. We are now able to watch a movie of the brain while it develops in real time. We are witnessing the effect the delicate dance between a parent and child has on a growing brain, and it's simply breathtaking. Like the 4th of July grand finale fireworks right up here. For groundbreaking science to go no further than medical journals would be a crime. This science has the potential to change behavior on a massive scale, but only if it's shared with those who can act on it: parents, caregivers, providers. People possibly thought of as babysitters can actually build brains. The research results set off deep discussion at the Foundation about how to share the findings, how to make them inspirational and actionable for a broad audience. We partnered with IDEO, a human-centered design firm in San Francisco, to do some basic field research with parents living in poverty. Over a 4-month period, they canvassed the United States, talking with parents to understand their realities, their aspirations for their children, and their interest in what the science had shown. Not surprisingly, they all wanted a better life for their children than they had for themselves. Did they know they could make a difference? No, not really. Did they want to know the science? Yes, they did. So we created an initiative called Vroom. It's an effort that will help change parenting routines around the country. Confidentially, my coworkers and my husband are terrified that I'm going to take this global. And after receiving a recent email inquiry from Kosovo, their fears may be founded. What would the world look like if we had a global conversation that was centered around brain building? We were deeply aware from the beginning that communications efforts are hard, especially when you were talking about real behavior change. It was important that this initiative reflect the wisdom and the input of the people we are trying to support. The insights from IDEO's research keep us honest. Don't judge. Don't guilt trip. Don't give parents a to-do list. Meet them where they are. Make the science shine because parents have a huge appetite to know more. Much is already in place to promote change. The fact that all parents love their children, the desire of parents to be good parents, the growing national drumbeat about early learning, thank you, ounce, and new and creative ways to reach parents at scale. This led us to the idea of transforming moments, being present in those moments with a parent to turn routine tasks into brain-building opportunities, giving encouragement and support in those moments when parents are predisposed to act. We can't overstate the importance of the insight. Meet caregivers in the moment where they are. In considering the scarcity of time, we had to think about being on the daily journey of a parent, shoulder to shoulder, in the home, in the community, through trusted networks, and when parents are on the go. It's not about a single delivery point. It's about pleasant disruptions in the journey of a parent that elevate awareness and trigger action right then and there. We've developed a set of flexible tools that community-based organizations can layer onto existing programs and messages. These materials, written at a 5th grade reading level and available in both English and Spanish, were designed to be adoptable and adaptable. We've also developed a parent-friendly website and a free mobile app that delivers age-appropriate tips to parents daily. We've started partnering with national consumer packaged good companies, retailers, and media organizations to deliver brain-building prompts right when a parent is making dinner, drawing the bath, or changing a diaper. It turns out, and a neuroscientist told me this, so I know it's true, that the distance between the baby and the parent during a diaper change, about 17 inches, is optimal for brain building. There are approximately 8,000 diaper changes in the first few years of life, 8,000 opportunities to support a brain-building moment. That real estate is screaming for a brain-building tip. Companies that have products parents already use have signed on and are currently tweaking their packaging to turn their products into brain-building tools. These products sit in a privileged position between a parent and child in a moment laden with potential. I'm not at liberty to discuss who's come on board yet, but they're big. And they've seen the bigger picture when it comes to the national value of early childhood development and the role they can play. They've also come to the realization that the relationship they share with their customers can reach an entirely new and deeper level. What business leader wouldn't want that sort of relationship with their customer? All of these tools and touch points create a surround system to support families. I'd like to share a short video with you that highlights one of Vroom's key messages.
Yeah, hang up the jackets, okay? I'm really rushing all the time. I don't have enough time just to sit down with them.
Being a full-time mom and having a full-time job, it's not easy. I always worry, am I doing enough with my kids? Am I doing the important stuff that they need?
Can't imagine what is in here.
It feels really powerful.
You guys.
You already have all it takes.
maybe I just didn't look at it that way because I always want better.
Do you put your feet in them? No. No? I know that I can do it.
Which one is rough?
This one.
It's amazing the little things that we do. We don't even realize we're teaching our kids.
You did it, Mom.
Yay, good job.
You don't really think of brain development at that young of an age, you know, when you're 3 months old.
Vroom is not a campaign. Those have a beginning and an end. We're trying to catalyze a movement that leads to a culture shift, one that sets the table and expands the conversation while adding knowledge, the why, behind the how. We recently piloted Vroom in South Seattle in a very diverse community where over 65 languages are spoken. We assembled a group of 50 organizations from social service agencies, health and housing departments, to community clinics, child care providers, and home visitors. They all raised their hands to be part of the pilot, to use Vroom tools and messages, and to give us feedback. Over 130 local businesses used their storefront windows to promote the effort. In 4 months, Vroom was able to move the needle on awareness and positive parenting routines. With the benefit of learning from our pilot, we're poised to scale. We are looking for networks with broad and deep reach into communities. We're looking to be part of communities that have the political willpower, the widespread support, and the business leadership to step up and become a model for the rest of the country. Anyone here know a community like that? A city that can rally behind its youngest citizens and invest for the future? How about it, Chicago? Does all this sound audacious? Yes. Are we daunted? Every day. But we are inspired and humbled by others who are sticking their necks out too. We are so excited about what the Ounce is doing with the home visiting training platform. It's a terrific example of taking the Ounce's deep expertise in training home visitors and building a technology infrastructure to impact children across the country. Mayor Emanuel recently increased funding for early childhood programs by $36 million. $36 million can support the building of a lot of brains. The City of Chicago stepped up to apply for a significant federal Head Start Child Care Partnership grant to improve the quality of child care for low-income families. Your city received the largest award, nearly $15 million. These are bold moves that Chicago should be proud of. The need for bold maneuvers and innovative ideas has never been more pressing. The number of children born into poverty is increasing, and gaps persist. We are at an unprecedented moment in time. Science is laying the groundwork for strategic investments. Imagine what it could look like if we recognized and acted upon the potential of all children. I recently came across this quote. Portia, you'll like this one too. Few will have the greatness to bend history itself, but each of us can work to change a small portion of events. And in the total of all those acts will be written the history of this generation. If we want to be an early learning nation, one where all children's potential is valued and opportunity is a given. It will take many bold groups, like this one here, to make it happen. My ask of you today is to think of yourself as a brain builder, and every adult in the life of a child as a brain builder. Together, we can help write the history of the next generation. Thank you.